Gesù era nel Tempio,
Jesus was in the temple.
era vicino alla festa della Pasqua.
It was near the feast.
Anche i giudei in quel tempo si
Even
fecero
the
attorno, gli
Jews
dicevano fino a quando
in
ci
that time
terrai
surrounded him
se tu sei il
and said, "How much
Cristo,
longer
dilla
are
a
you
noi
going to keep us
apertamente."
in suspense? If you are the Christ, tell us plainly."
Ma questi facevano perdere la pazienza.
These would
Gesù con
make
quanta
someone
mitezza gli
lose
disse loro,
patience, and
"Ve
Jesus
l'ho
replies
detto,
to
ma
them,
non credete."
"I've told you, but you do not believe."
Continuavano a dire, ma sei tu,
They
sei tu.
continue to ask him,
L'ho
"Is it you? Is it
detto,
you?" And Jesus says, "I've told you, I've told you.
ma voi non credete perché non
But you do
fate
not
parte
believe
delle mie pecore.
because you are no sheep of mine."
E questo forse ti suscita un dubbio.
And this could perhaps arouse a doubt.
Io credo
I believe,
e faccio parte delle pecore di Gesù.
and
Gesù
I
dice, se
am a part
voi non
of
potete credere
Jesus's
perché non fate
sheep,
parte.
but then he
Se la
says,
fede
"You don't believe because you
previa
don't take part in my flock."
all'incontro con Gesù,
Is there a short moment of belief in Jesus?
fare
What
parte
is this to be part
della porta di
of
Gesù, della fede di Gesù?
the faith of Jesus?
Cosa è quello che mi
What
ferma
is it
davanti alla
that
porta che è Gesù?
what is it that makes me stop before the door that is Jesus?
Ci sono degli atteggiamenti brevi
There
alla
are
confessione di Gesù. Anche per
brief
noi
moments that come
che
before
siamo
confessing
nel gregge
Jesus,
di
even
Gesù.
us who are in Jesus' flock.
Sono come
They're
antipatie previe, diciamo
attitudes
così,
that
che non ci
we might
lasciano
be able to call
andare
brief
avanti
moments of
nella conoscenza
antipathy
del Signore.
that keep us from going ahead in our knowledge of the Lord.
La prima di tutto sono le ricchezze.
The chief among them is
Che
wealth.
tanti di noi che siamo
There are many
entrati
of us who have
alla
entered
porta del Signore, poi ci
the
fermiamo e
door
non
of the
andiamo
Lord, and
avanti
then we stop and we
perché
don't
siamo
continue
imprigionati
because
dalle
we are
ricchezze.
imprisoned by wealth.
Il Signore è stato duro
And the Lord
con le
was
ricchezze, è stato molto
hard
duro,
about wealth. He was very, very hard,
al punto di
to
dire
the
che
point of saying
era più facile che un
that
cammello
it was
entrasse per la
easier
colonna di
that
Davide
a camel go through the eye of a needle than
nei cieli.
a rich person enter the kingdom of heaven. That's hard.
Le ricchezze sono un impedimento per
Wealth
andare avanti.
is an
Ma
impediment
dobbiamo cadere
for
nel
going
pauperismo?
ahead.
No, ma non essere schiavi delle ricchezze. Non
So
vivere
do
per la
we need to
ricchezza.
fall in poverty?
Perché le
No,
ricchezze
but not to fall into the
sono il
temptations of
Signore,
wealth because
sono il Signore di questo mondo e
because
non possiamo
wealth
servire
is
due
the
signori.
Lord of this world and we cannot serve two
Le ricchezze ci
masters.
fermano.
And wealth makes us
Un altro-
stop or stops us.
Un'altra cosa che
Another
impedisce
thing that
di andare avanti nella conoscenza di
that
Gesù
keeps
nella
us from going
conoscenza,
ahead in our knowledge and
la
belonging to
rigidità,
Jesus is rigidity,
la rigidità di cuore,
hardness of heart,
anche la rigidità nell'interpretazione della legge.
even in the rigidity of interpreting the law.
Gesù rimprovera
Jesus
i
reproached
farisei,
the
i dottori della
Pharisees, the
legge,
doctors of
per
the
questa
law,
rigidità,
for this rigidity,
che non è fedeltà.
which is not
La
faithfulness.
fedeltà è sempre un dono a Dio.
Faithfulness is
La
always a
rigidità
gift
è
of
una
God.
sicurezza per me stesso.
Rigidity is
Ricordo una
a
volta che
security for oneself.
entravo in parrocchia e una
One time I
signora,
went into a parish and there was a
una buona
woman,
signora,
a good
si
woman,
avvicinò e mi disse,
who
fare una
came up to
consultazione.
me and asked
Ma la settimana
she
scorsa,
wanted to ask me
sabato,
something,
ieri,
and
l'altro sabato,
she said,
siamo andati in famiglia a un
this
matrimonio,
past Saturday
era con la messa,
I went to
era sabato
a wedding in the
pomeriggio.
family. It was a Saturday
Abbiamo
afternoon.
capito che
It wasn't this past one, but the other one, and we understood that
avremmo
in this mass
compiuto il precetto domenicale.
we would
Ma poi tornando a casa ho
we would
pensato
fulfill
che
the Sunday
le
precept,
letture di
and
quella
then
messa non era
I
quella
went
della
back home
domenica.
and I realized that the readings of that Mass weren't the ones for Sunday, and so I became aware that I was in mortal sin because I hadn't gone to Mass on Sunday because I had gone on Saturday, and it wasn't a real Mass because the readings weren't the right ones. That rigidity, and that woman belonged to an ecclesial movement. Rigidity. This distances us from the wisdom of Jesus, Jesus' beauty. It takes away or robs us of our freedom. And many pastors make this type of rigidity grow in souls, in the souls of the faithful. And this rigidity doesn't allow one to enter into the door that is Jesus. It's more important to observe the law as it is written, or as I interpret it, rather than the freedom to move forward following Jesus. Another thing that doesn't allow us to go ahead in our following of Jesus is apathy, that tiredness or fatigue. You can think of the man beside the pool for 38 years, apathy. It robs us of our will, our desire to go ahead. And everything is if, but, not now. It makes you tepid, apathy. It's another thing that keeps us from going ahead. Another, which is pretty bad, is a clericalistic behavior or attitude. It makes you be opposed to Jesus. You do this, 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 and this. If you don't do it like this, you can't come in. Let's let the Master aside. I think he was talking of Jesus at that moment. It takes away the liberty to believe of the faithful. It's an illness. It's a bad illness in the church, this clericalistic style or attitude. Another thing that keeps us from entering and knowing Jesus and professing Jesus is the worldly spirit. When the observance of the faith, the practice of the faith ends up in worldliness, and everything becomes worldly. We can think of a celebration of some sacraments in some parishes, how much worldliness there is there. And one doesn't understand well the grace, the presence of Jesus. These are some of the things that stop us from becoming Jesus' sheep. We are sheep of all these things, of wealth, of apathy, of rigidity, of worldliness, of clericalism, of ideologies, of forms of life. But freedom is lacking, and one cannot follow Jesus without liberty, freedom. And yet at times, the freedom goes beyond, and one might slip and fall. Yes, that's true. We can slip on the way of liberty. But this is slipping before becoming free. May the Lord enlighten us to see within us if there is liberty, freedom to go beyond the door, which is Jesus, to go beyond with Jesus in order to become his flock, to become sheep of his flock.